One day, teenage martial artist Ramna Saotome went on a training mission with his father and ended up taking a dive into Curse Springs at a legendary training ground in China. Now, every time he splashes with cold water, he changes into a girl. His father Gemna changes into a panda. What's a half guy, half girl to do? Find out what fueled the worldwide manga boom in beloved creator Rumiko Takahashi's smash hit martial arts Mayhem presented, remastered, and unflipped for the first time. Also, another difference, this is the comparison and contrast section where I compare the differences between the 1989 and the remake that we just recently received from October 2024 around the 1.5. So some of the ones that kind of stick out immediately. In the original 1989, female Ramna's outfit is red with blue. It's a red tunic shirt with blue pants, a white belt, and black armbands. Whereas if you go to the remake, female Ramna's outfit is a red tunic with gray pants, black armbands. When Ramna switches between male and female, in Ramna's female form in the original, she has red hair, but in the remake it's pink hair with eyeliner. And then if you go over to your fiance, Akane, the nightgown that she wears in the original is just a generic white nightgown with a pink shirt underneath. Just white nightgown with no words on it. But if you go over to the remake makes it more manga accurate, where the words Caribbean written on the front, just like in the manga, and it's the same color where it's like the orange and green. So then Akane, during her fight with Ramna in the original series, it was like during the part where she wanted to like test his Kenpo ability in the dojo for fun. But this is before, of course, she hated him and found out that he was actually a guy. She actually was wearing a yellow G with a red belt, but if you go into the remake, she's actually wearing a white G with a black belt. So she's a black belt. So then if you go over to the infamous scene that everybody knows in the first episode where Kane finds out Ramna's actually a guy because she has to go and take a bath. But when she touches the hot water, she turned into her true self, which is her male form. And that's part of the curse. So in the original, Ramna has to take a bath, and Akane happens to be told to do so as well. And of course, the nudity is a little bit more explicit because I guess it was a little bit more lenient back then. But here in the remake version, that same scene, her chest is covered up. You don't see certain things. And that's the major difference there. Hot water does turn female Ramna to his original self. And Akane calls him a pervert and attacks him. And same thing with the remake. So same story beat there. I've noticed in the original that Genma Saotome, that's Ramna's father, and Ramna tend to get into little fights and altercations and cat fights more often than they do in the remake. So the major synopsis that we get in episode 1 is, why is he a female and switching between male and female, and why is the father switching between human and turning into a panda bear? They went on a journey in China because they're martial artists. They went to a journey in China, and on that journey, unfortunately, they were training and ended up falling into a lake when they knocked one of each other down off of like those poles that come out of the ground when they were training. And when Ramna knocked his dad into one of the lakes, it turned him into a panda bear. And then when Ramna's dad came out and surprised him, he knocked him into the water and it turned him into a woman. So anytime they both come in contact with water, they turned into whatever their curse affliction is. So Ramna turned into a female, and then his father turned into a bear. And there's other characters that have this curse too that we meet later on. A major difference I know is that, surprisingly enough, the English dub of the OG series actually gets the dialect more in line to the manga. But if you read the manga, so then later on in the scene after they had told this story, and Akane and her sisters and the dad, Ramna and Ramna's father, are all trying to get a grasp on what's going on after the story was being told. And Akane's father was like, you know what? Okay, this whole thing can work out because this is not that bad. You can turn back into your regular form by just pouring hot water all over you, and that's fine. And that's what they usually do to fix Ramna whenever Ramna doesn't want to be a girl, he'll just pour the hot water on himself. They'll boil water and pour it on him. Or he'll go and take a bath or something and turn back into a guy. And that's what the father said. And the father was like, hey, take your pick whichever one you want. And it was decided that Akane was going to be the one that Ramna marries. And of course, it's like, that's where you get that, the romance anime trope in there, where it's like, oh, well, she's got an attitude and their personalities are kind of similar. So it clashes. So it kind of works out. So in the original version, Ramna makes fun of Akane, saying, oh, it doesn't matter if I see a naked girl, because, he can turn into a girl. So he's used to seeing himself, and he says that he's better built, which pisses off Akane. And of course, Akane throws the table on top of him. And that's actually more accurate to the manga, at least the dialogue is. Rather than in the remake, Ramna says she has better proportions than Akane, which ticks her off, and she throws the table on top. So there are some dialogue changes here and there, but overall, you still get the same story. I can't for now say which one I like more than the other, but I do like this series a lot. I did purchase the manga, and do yourself a favor and read the manga while you're actually watching the original series, whether it be subbed or dubbed. I'm doing dub first, but I am gonna do subbed as well, because it is kind of like an audiobook. If you do the original anime while reading the manga, it is pretty much like an audiobook. If you do the Netflix version has some different line changes here and there, but overall, I'd say give it a try. I like it, and I'm definitely going to be doing more reviews, so let me know what you think about Ramna 1.5, and I will talk to you later. Peace.
She don't wanna be saved, don't save her. 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 She don't wanna be saved.